Hey guys, what's up? This is Francisco with Valeriso Capital, and I'm gonna do a quick video on a recent trade that I made. I'm gonna go over Aris Water Solutions, ticker ARIS, and I'm gonna do basically just a quick overview. I'm not gonna go through the setup per se or the buy point and the sell point. What I'm gonna go through is the screening process that I do on MarketSmith to find these opportunities. So this is a recent IPO. So the screen that I'm going to share with you today is a screen that I have developed, in which a screen that helps me find recent IPOs with increasing sell earnings, with increasing EPS, and also that are trading near 20 near the highs, basically 20% off. I think is the measure that I use. And I'm also going to show you the other things that I put in the screens so that you can focus on the best. And usually this screen gives me somewhere around from 10 to 20 names, and that actually helps me a lot to focus on those names and to have those names on my watch list, because as you know, we usually get some really strong moves from IPOs. So, and also what is really important is that this screen helps me find the potential IPOs before they actually break out. So you can see right here in my screen, which I have Aries, you can see that Aries already broke out, and it broke out on the highest volume since the IPO base, which is actually pretty interesting, and it shows a lot of conviction from buyers. And you can see the technical pattern was here. Actually, we actually have a double inside day, and then after that we have a really strong move to the upside. So now let's go through the screen. Let's make this a quick video and fun video, so that you can have something, so that you can have another tool for your trading process. So as you can see here are my screens that I have. The ones that I'm going to share with you is the IPO EPS, and also the IPO average sales. Basically, the screen that I use is basically the same. The only thing that changes is the EPS and the average sales for the different opportunities. So now let's go quickly and let's create a new screen so that you can see the entire process. So let's just do a new stock screen, and let's do IPO. Let's do something quickly. IPO YouTube. That way you know that is for the YouTube channel. So let's save it. Right, let's save the IPO right here. So here's the for you guys that don't know how to use MarketSmith, this is the way that you create a screen. You just go to screen, you create a new screen, and now here you're gonna have all the different options. So first of all, let's start with the RS rating, which is basically the relative strength rating. I usually go that, and this is personal preferences. This is something that works for me, and it most likely will work for you as well. So the RS rating that I use is 70. So something that has a relative strength percentage over 70. And you can see that just by putting that number right here, you can see that we dropped from 9,646 names all the way somewhere around 3,000. So that already help us reduce the number of stocks that we're gonna watch. And then what I like to do is go all the way to price. And for my personal preferences, I prefer to see stocks that are trading over $10. So let me go here, and you can see here's the price. So the minimum price that I'm watching for is going to be somewhere around 10 bucks, right? So we click here, so we can see the current price over $10, and that drop the number all the way to 2,108. And then the other thing that I like to watch is the percentage of highs. So let me see right here. Price change over the last 2 months, current week. So here we have price versus the 52-week high. I like to see something that is trading not below 25%, right? So somewhere that is trading somewhere around those highs, since these are IPOs, and we see that they tend to be pretty volatile. That's why I give them a little bit more space. For the regular stocks which are not IPOs, I usually use somewhere around 10 to 15%. Now let's take a look at the average volume, right? So we can see that the volume, the 50-day volume that I use for this one, I like something liquid. So I prefer to trade stocks that are trading somewhere around over 200,000 shares per day. So that already brought the number down all the way to 987, which is encouraging, but it still does a lot of names to look at. So now let's go to some different things. Now let's go through the IPO criteria. On that one, you can see here's the IPO date. You can see that we also have the incorporation date, but we're going to use the IPO. And basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for names that are since I'm looking for younger IPOs, I look for names that are 2 years, 2 years to 3 years. I prefer to use 2 years, and you can see that we already dropped this number all the way down to 23. So you can start looking at those names right now. But I still have one more thing that I look at, and that's earnings, right? I like to see increase in earnings per share, or I like to see increase in average sales, right? So let's take a look at the EPS last quarter. We include with the negative comparison. For the last quarter, I like to see growth of at least 40%. You can use a little bit less, you can use 20, you can use 30, but for my personal preferences, I use 40%. So right now you can see down here we have the names already, and you can see that we have a total of 13 names. And you can see that the first name that he found was Aris, actually the one that I traded. And you can see that we have some other names as well. So let's just drop this down right here. Let me take this out of the way. And you can see that if you just plug into this name, you see that we have Aris as the first name in the list. And then you just drop this down, and then you just basically what you can do is just take this out, and then you just have to start looking through the names and basically just looking for technical patterns that look constructive. I usually look for something that is over the 50 daily moving average, perhaps something that is forming a handle on the right side of its base. And then that's usually pretty constructive, and that's a good way to find winners. You can see this one pretty interesting, right? This is actually retail and internet, which is not a leading sector, but you can see that the stock is breaking to new all-time highs. So that's pretty constructive on really nice volume. That's one that you can add to your watch list. This one is also look interesting, trading on the right side of its base. What else do we have here? Pretty new IPO. We have SIM that is starting to form a cup and a handle. Well, not a handle, but a cup. So we're starting to see that cup right here. We're trying to trade right below this pivot right here. Perhaps if we can move above it and start to build below this pivot, then we're going to have a really nice cup and handle setup here. And that way you see that this scan actually found this one before it broke out. So that's the very important part. So that's how you make the screen. And then of course, if you want to look at other names, you can just, the only thing that I change here, right? If I want to change something, I have one screen for EPS, as you can see here, and then I have another one for average sales. So basically you just take the EPS out and then just go to the percentage sales. And I also look for 40% here as well. And you can see that we have 10 names. Most of the times these names tend to overlap because the things that we're looking at are pretty similar. We only have one difference, but that way you can find both the 40% EPS percentage and also the average sales as well. So you can see that we have the first name on the list is Aris as well, which is, in my opinion, is going to be a market leader if we happen to see more upside in the market. And then you just have to go through the names. This one look interesting. This one actually is in a leading sector, utility and gas. You can see that this one is building right below that 28, and you find this opportunity before it actually breaks to the upside. Harmony, once again, we have this Lulu's Fashion, PXCX, PHFC, PRCT. This one looks interesting, right? Medical equipment, not necessarily a leading sector, but this one is constructive. You can see that we have a cup. We actually have a shakeout below that 50, and now we're building right below that 40. So this one looks interesting. This one is probably one that you can add to your watch list. What else do we have here? And then finally, we have SIM, once again with that cup. So you can see, guys, we basically found 3 names that are actually pretty constructive. Aris, SIM, and PRHCT, I think was the ticker. Let me check once again. PRCT. So this is a great way for to look for opportunities. Remember that the reason that we actually build a screen is so that we don't look at too many names, right? That way you have three names for the week if you are focused on IPOs. That way you have three names. You set your stops, set your levels, and that way you can manage best, and then you can focus on the best of the names. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I put a lot of time of building this screen. It was a lot of trial and error, and of course, a lot of my mentors helped me building this screen. I think it's a really powerful screen, and I wanted to share with you so that you have another tool for your trading success. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope that you had an amazing, amazing weekend, and I wish you the best of lucks for this upcoming trading week. Remember to like and subscribe, and good luck. See you. Bye bye.